Hey YouTube, how we doing? I'm Robert Whittier and you're watching Coach's Royal Reptiles. Thanks for coming back to my channel. Really appreciate you coming and seeing what I got going on today. It's my third video in the dorsal markings, dorsal blackback stripes, interesting dorsals. It's my third video in that series. Again, these three videos in this series also part of my project video series as well. So I think this will make the fifth video in the project video series. We're going to keep going in this series and keep looking at some of my more interesting projects. And so in this video, now what we're going to look at in the third video here on dorsals, that's how into the dorsal markings I am. These animals that I'm going to show you today, I think I've got six, seven animals again, maybe five in this video. And again, this is going to go over interesting dorsal markings. And when I'm talking about interesting dorsal markings, we're going to show you just single genes that you can get into that really present an interesting dorsal. And then I'm going to show you a couple of just, maybe two gene combos where you start to create a very interesting dorsal marking as well. So again, man, sit back, relax, and hopefully you'll enjoy the video. Okay, so now we're going to talk about dorsal markings that I just kind of like. They're interesting. Things that I kind of want to kind of breed and kind of work with. The first one here is this male GHI het hypo. I really like what GHI does in the to the dorsal markings in a lot of the combos that you'll use GHI with. So I slept on GHI for the longest time, and I finally picked up a male GHI het hypo, and he's a proven breeder. He's a daddy, and I'm going to show you one of his babies. If you've already seen some of his babies, there's only GHI I have in my collection, other than the GHIs I just produced. So what we did with this GHI is we want to make sure we get that highlighted dorsal, right? It really does, and GHI does something funky with the dorsal markings. Kind of just, little jaggedy, it's just different, right? GHI, that dorsal markings on a GHI, they're just different. I just really like it. And so we're going to work with this to make some interesting dorsal marking snakes. All right. This is a female that I'm growing up. I picked this animal up a year and a half ago or so. I really like the dorsal markings in this gene as well. I'd let you guess what she is, but I know nobody would guess it, so I'll just tell you. First of all, I like her neck stripe, and on the dorsal it starts right behind the head, and you can see that mark in here in the middle, how it kind of splits and shows the black part. I'm talking about this part here. All right, she's nervous and wants to climb the tripod. Okay, it's all right, girly. You're okay, sweetie. Let's just see if we can calm her down a little bit. I love the head too on this. I'm going to tell you the gene here in a minute. Some of you may have already guessed it. This is the nanny ball. Now, the nanny ball is going through a name change. They want to change the name of the gene from nanny to carnage. Well, I think carnage sounds better, but we've already been years with the nanny. And so we're going to start with this girl. We got to get her growed up. I really like the single gene form. And we're going to see what it'll do dorsal-wise, because the reason I got this gene was the dorsal markings on this snake. I really like the overall look. I'm really really more on the dark side. One of my favorite genes is leopard. So I like the dark stuff, but I like to put the dark stuff with the light stuff. I think that kind of makes a unique look. But that's Nanny. Carnage. Carnage or Nanny. See if we can get her just one more good shot of her. Come on, baby. Come out from under there. I kind of changed the way I put it in here for this video. It's still not very good. So, yeah, it still gets in the way. So I think we're just going to have to come up with a different surface. I'll work on it. We'll get better. So there she is. Little Nanny ball. Or is it Carnage? We'll see. Okay, another interesting dorsal in a gene, not a combo. And again, I selected this girl because of this wild dorsal that she has. It's just all over the place. This is pastel spot nose. And spot nose, it's got some very interesting, very hooky, alien head eyes in the dorsal markings. The dorsal markings are just wild. Pastel spot nose. She's going to get bred to that male you saw in the last video. The very last male. That pastel lesser leopard inchy fire will be going to this pastel spot nose. And we're going to see what kind of combos that makes. Then once we get that combos, we can use those combos to make our het clowns and our het genetic stripes and het VPI xanthics if we want to do that. So there she is. You're going to bring her head back over here for us. So that's it. Very interesting dorsal markings on the spot nose gene. Here's another gene that has an incredible, here talking to me. She talking. Ectothermic Dungeon produced this animal. Very interesting dorsal markings in this gene as well. That's why I got into this gene. Most of you already know it by looking at it. This is a red stripe. This is red stripe fire. 66% het clown. She is gorgeous. I love this snake. Again, she wants to take a shot at me. But this red stripe gene, and we look at that dorsal marking, man. Just amazing. And this one's broken up a lot more than some that I've seen. But she really had hard here, and I could really tell that, you know, she was legitimate red stripe. So I picked her up. Again, we got fire, red stripe, 66% het clown, and she's sitting beautiful. And she's just giving you a look. She's very considerate, isn't she? I love the blushing that the fire brings in here, right? The nice thing about red stripe, when you guys are looking at red stripes, real red stripes, really thick eye stripes, right? And then this really thick dorsal stripe. So we're going to see if we work that and see if we can get that big dorsal stripe to go solid for us in some combos. I'm thinking maybe het pied. What do you think? I'm thinking we throw a bell gene in here and leopard maybe, and maybe a het pied, or maybe leave the leopard out and see if it'll just do that red stripe dorsal stripe with het pied as well. It's a gorgeous animal, man. I love this gene, and I can't wait to start working with it. I was going to start with her this year. start breeding her. But I think I'm going to give her one more year. Give her one more year. Let's get her up a good 2 kilos and see how she goes. I love this snake, man. I love this snake. It's a great gene, right? Red stripe. So here we go. Fire, red stripe, 66% het clown. Here's another one. Combos that make interesting dorsal markings. This is lesser bee. Just lesser and spider. She's a female. And look at what the spider does to the dorsal. Her brother, I produced a pair of these. Her brother had was basic black-backed. I almost kept him just because of that. But I wanted to keep the female, so I let the male go. But look at the distance. This is just an interesting dorsal. Again, a combo that creates an interesting dorsal marking. And so this is a combo. And so this is Lesser Bee. She's a big girl. One of my early productions. I just really like this animal. Really pretty. Really high white sides. I love the high white sides on this girl. And you can see she's fighter. Haven't seen her corkscrew yet. Haven't seen her even wobble yet, really. And she's stressed out. And that's what brings on the wobble worse in the spider gene. Is stress. And she's stressed right now. Look at her trying to find a way out. She's stressed. So, if she was going to wobble, she's going to do it right now. And she's pretty steady for, real good for a spider. Her dad, though, my goodness. Her dad was my very first ball python. Hello. Welcome back to another Get to Know Coach. I've shared with you that I have 3 children, my favorite ball python genes. I've also shared with you that I'm married and all about that. And now I'm going to share with you, I live in the Phoenix, Arizona area. I live in a town called Chandler, Arizona, which is just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. I live in the desert, sweating. Yesterday we had our first day over 100. It's March. 106 yesterday. So it's different living in the desert. It's different trying to run a snake room and manage a snake room in the desert. And I just kind of bring this up to kind of let everybody know that, everybody wants to try to help everybody with their husbandry and how to keep their snakes and whatnot in this hobby. The thing is that we have to remember is that we all don't live in the same place. What works for you out there in the southeast United States definitely isn't going to work for me in the southwest United States. In the southeast, you have quite a bit of humidity. In the southwest, we have little to no humidity. I think humidity was like 8% relative humidity yesterday. So I have to manufacture humidity, and I used to manufacture humidity in my snake room with humidifiers. And I've since stopped using humidifiers and kind of more use everything that's pretty much in my room, all the water bowls and water bucket and the heat and everything, keeping the room kind of closed up. And I can run relative humidity in my snake room about 40%. And then, with a big bowl of water and a heat source and a cage and a closed area, I can get that up. So I usually can get their cages to about 50% humidity in my snake room. And then I've noticed that for my snakes, the snakes that I've hatched and raised in that room, they do very, very well with those parameters. I do notice that when I bring a snake in from somewhere else, there is a little bit of a,
getting to adjusted to the, relative humidity and the feeling of any room. So I just, always kind of let people know, you can't just, you know, do husbandry with a blanket because, it's hotter here. I see a lot of people in some parts of the country, they'll turn their garage into their snake room. Well, I put my snake room in the garage and I got to put a mini split air conditioning in there because it's over 120 degrees in there days during the summer. So, um, really, we all got to kind of take into account, what are my challenges? What are your challenges? What are you dealing with? What am I dealing with? It's all a little bit different. So I just, kind of maybe something to keep in mind next time you're talking with somebody about their husbandry. A big deal matters about where they live and what they're dealing with already. So, but I love the desert. I've been here 30 years. I'm sorry. Yeah, about 30 years. I lived I was born and raised in the East Bay, born in Oakland, raised in the East Bay. That's why I'm a Raiders fan. And I moved out here to Phoenix when I was about 28 years old. And then I did, after I was here about 10 years, I moved to Texas for a couple years. And I lived in the Houston, Texas area. And boy, was that a change. Boy, I went from like 8% relative humidity to like over 80% relative humidity every day. That was a shock to my system. And then we came back to Arizona. We, like I said, now stay in Chandler, Arizona, just outside of Phoenix. Everybody, I hope you're enjoying the video. Got a bunch of stuff, exciting stuff that's going on around this group of snakes, and trying to keep you up to date in the text in the video, and obviously I've got some content stuff that will be I'll be able to use um, coming up very soon. So thanks again. Hopefully enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you next time.
Now, a video would not be complete. Unusual dorsal markings, interesting dorsal markings. We talked about the GHI. This is a little male that I've hatched last year or end of last year. And the GHI, I made this combo just because I wanted this combo. Now, he's paws hypo, and he's just a beautiful animal. I just really like this combo. It's an iconic combo in the hobby. And check out those dorsal markings. Check out the dorsal marking. This is just amazing. You see all of the depth in that pattern in the dorsal markings. I always look at GHI Mojaves and it looks like they got like a jewelry going down the back on their dorsal. So interesting dorsal markings. I don't think if you got this snake here in the collection, you can't do a video on interesting dorsal markings without showing this animal. So he's awesome. He likes to bite me. He's a real biter. And he's gorgeous. God, I like this snake. I really enjoy this hobby. I really have a great time. So this is GHI Mojave, paws head hypo. Okay, I didn't want to put this girl in the dorsal stripe video, but I still believe that this female het pied. Now this is what I believe to be pastel lesser, cine, leopard, paws het pied. And because that dorsal stripe pretty full and head to tail, I would expect this snake to prove het pied. Now, I really like the side pattern here. Sorry, I'm just kind of holding this one. But again, it's got that run together, lesser, cine type combo side pattern. And then the side pattern just kind of fades away, but so does everything else. So we're going to work with this girl. Now this girl is going to go, and I'm going to put her to a male desert ghost and make everything that comes out of her clutch het desert ghost. So just beautiful. It's got that yellow hue to it. It's just a beautiful snake. When I hatched this animal, I just sat there scratching my head. Like, what happened? Why does she have a dorsal stripe all the way, but nothing else? I mean, you can't even see like a faint side pattern or anything. But you can see it up here. It's just a beautiful animal. Beautiful female. Really like her. That little dot in between her eyes is just like a yellow dot. Just nothing wrong with the scales or anything like that. It's just a little yellow dot. Just really pretty. I really like this female. Excited to get to use her. So that's her. This is Purple Passion. Purple Passion. 50% paws het clown. Okay. So this combo, a lot of times we'll throw a nice stripe on the back or an interesting dorsal with some ghost pattern down the side. I really like how dark this girl's head is. Remember, Purple Passion is Mojave and Phantom. Remember, I made a Phantom clown. I've showed you I made a Phantom clown. So we know dad of this girl too, is het clown. This is her father, so she's 50% paws het clown. So maybe we'll put her back to dad and make some Purple Passion clowns and some super Phantom clowns. Look at that stripe, that dorsal. I love dorsal markings. And I love this combo because of the dorsal markings it creates. She'd hook the corner of the tub with her tail, and she wasn't letting go. So there she is. Purple Passion, 50% het clown. Love the dorsal stripe on that girl. Interesting. You know me, I can't do a video without my HRAs. So this is HRA Cinnamon Fire. You've seen this girl before, but I'm bringing her back in this video because look, it black backs the back, but then the cine comes back and puts that little cine spot dorsal down the middle. But God, it's got this wide black back. And so we're going to see if we can't, in these gargoyle combos, see if we can clean this up. Clean that up and make it a black back. But isn't she gorgeous? That is Cine HRA Fire. You could call her a Gargoyle Fire. You could call her an HRA Firemon. Or you can call her what I love to call her. And the name of this combo, I think, should be the Flaming Gargoyle. Fire Gargoyle, Flaming Gargoyle. She's gorgeous. I love this snake. Okay, there you go. Interesting dorsal markings. What do you think of those animals? What do you think about some of these single gene? I really like the dorsal markings in red stripe, spot nose, and I really am interested to see what that nanny gene will do in different combinations. Like that dorsal is wild. So what we're gonna do is let's keep following that nanny ball. because like I said, right now they are trying to change the name of the gene from Nanny to Carnage. So I'm going to be working with that gene and seeing what we can do as far as, you know, what it does in combos with that incredible dorsal marking. And then you saw some combos. We looked at a Purple Passion, we looked at a GHI Mojave, and a couple others that when you go about in breeding and in these combos, you create that interesting dorsal marking. So hope you enjoyed the video. I really would like it if you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really trying to build a channel, and I appreciate everybody's support. I really enjoy the reptile community, and I'm proud to be just a small part of it. So hopefully you like the video. Give it a shot and give it a thumbs up, and heck, subscribe to my channel. You'll see what we got coming on next. Really having a great time, having a ball over here at Coach's Royal Reptiles, and come on back and see me. Talk to you later.